Thanks for listening. This is part 6 of our podcast series for leadership team communications. This podcast series is focused on coming alongside you as a leader and helping you create the team of your dreams. And on the previous episode, we talked about trust and doing and showing your team who you are, because people may not like you or your personality, but it's not going to really matter when they trust you and they honour you. They begin to like that component of you. Eventually they might like your personality as well. Hopefully they do. Our topic today is about HR and problems associated with HR or people behaviours or unfair dismissal, all those horrible things that we deal with within the back of our minds that cause a lot of worry and fear and doubt and holds a lot of people out, and it costs people a lot of money because of the fear. They engage with very expensive programs and structures and entities to deal with it all when it doesn't need to be like that. Sure, we need to know our statutory requirements, and mostly when you approach Safe Work New South Wales or a regulatory body like that, from my experience, having dealt with state managers and people like that, the commonality is: are your people safe to do their job? Now, in that process, it's going to mean some engagement. So, point 1. Investing in your people with communication is needed. If we don't have communication with our people, how are we going to know how they're going, and how are you going to actually be able to tell a judge that you knew how they were going? Because that in itself is an area of safety concern, that you got to do your due diligence in providing a safe workplace, and that means in all aspects, including sexual harassment and areas like that. So if you're talking to someone and communicating with them, they know they're valued, then you have documented evidence that you're meeting with them occasionally, you're showing them the safe ways to use things occasionally, and you have a bit of a protocol on how you maybe go out into a job with risk management, swims, things like that. You're doing everything that you can that's reasonably practicable. That's point 1. Point 2 is, how do you utilise the communication, and how do you actually help bring out internal motivation? Well, by engaging in communication of questions, good questions, what it means, what they believe, how important is that to them, things like that, as you go through maybe even your work health and safety and discussing how they do their job and asking them questions, what they like about it, what they find out about it. This can actually increase their internal motivation to want to do a good job, to be seen as value coming into your business. So there's a couple of points there that can really engage your team and reduce the unfair dismissal. Point 3 is about how does this actually help you reduce your costs with HR and WHS issues or potential issues. Well, in my days of dealing in different businesses and in this area as well with Safe Work, I've found that the most vibrant, happy, communicative teams that know each other, and the leaders know them very well personally, and they're engaged into a platform of a family-type business structure, the likelihood of someone going for unfair dismissal or whatever sexual harassment or something like that is very, very unlikely. It's much less reduced. Someone would be more likely, if they needed to leave, just leave. I mean, there wouldn't be all the hoo-ha, all the rigmarole. Sure, we need to do our paperwork correctly, but the main problem that I've seen in businesses is disgruntled workers. Why are they disgruntled? Well, if they're brought in through an employment filtration system within your own business and you get the right person and you've done your homework on that, then you're going to have the right behaviour in there. You're going to have the right attitude in there. You're going to engage with them. We have a tool called Jess, which you can engage with them, or you need something to engage with them so that you can keep going back to them and coming back to a common point to maintain a great conversation with them. When you have that, the likelihood of causing problems and costs in your business are far reduced. The disgruntled worker won't be there. And you've got evidence that you've been talking with them, but unlikely you'll need to provide the evidence for any disgruntled worker when your workers are happy. I hope that makes a lot of sense to you. Is it worth investing in your people and structures of communication? How we talk to someone, how we deal with a problem and turn it into an opportunity, how we value them. Is it really worth it for the business? I hope this makes sense, and reach out if you want some information. We're more than happy to help. It's establishing, really greater community. So if we can establish a great community in your great business, what's that going to mean when they go home tonight? See you in the next episode. Thanks for listening.